Welcome to Leading Edge. I'm Tim Miller in for Jeff Smith. We start by remembering 9/11 in Gibsonburg. And joining us now is Steve Fote, the mayor of Gibsonburg. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. You guys have a great memorial, the 9/11 Public Safety Service Memorial. I wanted to make sure I got the name right because it's such a beautiful place to visit. What makes it so special?
Oh, it's just a great place to, one, pay remembrance to the individuals who lost their lives that day, but then also for us as a community to be able to educate future generations about what happened, so that in the true spirit of it, that we never forget.
Because we're getting further and further away from it, just marking the 24th year this week. But your memorial makes sure that the people in your village or those who visit don't forget it, because you can't miss it when you go to Williams Park, right?
Yeah, it is up front, right? And as soon as you get into the park, and that is a huge piece of what we have here in the community. And with the memorial, is education is a big piece, and that never forget part is huge. We always strive to have the kids out from the local schools to come and see what we have, and to teach about what was there, because just like you mentioned, we are getting further and further away from what happened, and we don't want to forget what happened. And I go back to my kids were not around at that time. But fortunately, being that we have that piece here in the community, my kids definitely understand and know what happened, and for them, they get to see it regularly.
And we're showing some video of the memorial, talking about it a little bit. What I found was really fascinating was you actually have a section of the North Tower of the World Trade Center. How did you obtain that?
Yeah, we have a large section of the antenna from the North Tower. Uh, the program at the was winding down. They were giving away pieces to people building memorials, just like we were. That program was winding down. We put in for a piece. We knew we didn't want a small little piece that you could put on a desk or put
Right.
put in a cabinet someplace. We wanted something big that we could make something substantial with. And luckily, there was some big pieces left. We were able to get some funding around to send trucks to New York City to pick that up from the Port Authority and haul that back here. And then a local sculptor here in town, Jim Havens, put the whole vision around that memorial, and we were able to. He was able to construct what you see at the park today.
Yeah, it's fascinating because if there's something recognizable from the towers, unfortunately from that day, it was that antenna kind of going down when the building collapsed. As far as the rest of the memorial, you have the shape of the Pentagon kind of surrounding it as maybe the border, of course, because of the attack
Yep.
that happened there.
Yep. Yeah, the entire memorial has symbolism built into all of it. You have the antenna resting on top of a replica of the new One World Trade Center building at a 45-degree angle, symbolizing that we are rising back up. And then as you mentioned, we've got the shape of the Pentagon for what happened there. There are two large granite benches inside the memorial that are in the footprint of the two buildings that came down. And then there is symbolism to the Shanksville crash that happened as well.
Right. And I know you just, as we're talking here, you just had the memorial, the ceremony on 9/11. You do that every year. How uplifting is it that for you, or do you just see it as a somber place where you're glad to see people remembering and coming out and marking it?
It's both, right? It's good for the community. There's a lot of smiles. There's a lot of good vibes that get from getting there. But then there's the somber piece of it. As you mentioned, we do the ceremony every year. We're committed to that since we unveiled the memorial in 2016, and since then we've had hundreds of people a year come into the community to see it from close to far away. Come into the village to see it. The Sandusky County Visitors Bureau brings in bus tours to it.
Wow.
We've been lucky enough to have the Lieutenant Governor twice now come to our ceremony. It's been a very big piece. It's kind of defined the village in the last decade.
And you actually have limited edition challenge coins that are going to help raise funds to maintain this memorial. Are they available now, and how can people get them, and maybe show them to us?
Yeah. So I've got one here at my desk here. We have limited edition challenge coins. They're $10 a piece. Those coins, they feature on one side the village seal, and on the other side the seal of the Public Safety Service Memorial. Those coins, as I mentioned, are on sale for $10, and all the proceeds for that go to the upkeep and maintenance of the memorial, so that we can keep it in its condition and make sure that for generations to come that it's pristine.
It's one thing to get the artifacts for it and to have it there, but if you don't maintain it, these things, they can deteriorate over the years, right?
Yeah, it's a huge vocal point. It's a huge uh, piece of our village that we want to make sure that we keep it pristine at all times. So we're constantly sealing it and keeping it clean so it's not rusting and making it. The landscaping's good. It takes a lot of work.
And when you see the kids, Mayor Steve Fote joining us once again from Gibsonburg, talking about their 9/11 memorial, when you see the kids come out either for the ceremony you just had or just in general, or the schools bring them out, uh, does that give you a good feeling that this is going to be something that doesn't fade into history?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. Our school district here and the surrounding school districts have taken a good approach to making sure that they use it as a teaching point, and that is over the last few years that has been our main focus. So we constantly are pushing that aspect of it and wanting more and more kids to come out and see it. And the kids in this community, they definitely get it. They definitely remember, and that's one piece that we'll continue to push is the education piece of it for sure.
Well, I hope those coins go. They're available for however long you have them, right?
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
And that will help maintain it for years to come. Mayor Steve Fote, thank you so much for joining us. I think it's crucial to remember what happened on 9/11 and especially teach our kids so that we do have this, don't repeat history kind of thing. So I do appreciate you joining us here on Leading Edge.
Absolutely. Anytime. Glad to do it.
All right, thanks a lot, Mayor. And we'll be right back here on Leading Edge. And welcome back to Leading Edge. I'm Tim Miller. Every month, every day of every month, we are fighting to take a stand against breast cancer and try to reverse the numbers here in our area and all across the country. And September is a special month for that because of the Race for the Cure in downtown Toledo. Joining me right now is Gretchen Awad, the Executive Director for Susan G. Komen, Northwest Ohio and Detroit. Gretchen, thank you so much for joining us here. We know this is probably crunch time as you are getting ready for the race in a couple of weeks.
Thanks for having me. I always appreciate being with you, Tim. And it's crunch time, but it's a good crunch. It's our favorite time of year.
And it's the 32nd year, if I'm not wrong, right?
You are correct. It's the 32nd Northwest
Wow.
Ohio Race for the Cure. We feel so lucky in our market that there are only two Race for the Cure events in Ohio, here and Columbus. And there's obviously one in Detroit. But how lucky are we that we still have Race for the Cure and still supporting men and women in our area? Thrilled.
And we know that there are so many different facets to the Race for the Cure. You can, of course, do the 5K, you can run that, you can do the 1 mile family run, you can even walk the 5K, right? So really it has just about any format for anyone who can come help out.
Absolutely. It's a no judgment zone. I always say that. We don't care. We just want you to come and enjoy the festivities and register and fundraise and support our mission. So no matter how you choose to celebrate downtown, whether it's walking, running, or just, enjoying the event, come join us.
And I know one of my favorite parts is when you have the survivors get together. It's such a poignant part. The survivor parade, I believe that usually starts maybe a half an hour before the race starts. What is that moment like, Gretchen, when you see those survivors gathering together? Because some of them might actually still be fighting breast cancer in the moment.
Many of them are. So, to your point, Tim, I think it's an incredible experience no matter what your perspective. And we see some of our survivors, we notice those survivors who join us and they're joining us once again and celebrating their survivorship. We recognize those people who are living with metastatic breast cancer. They're certainly traveling a different journey than other people. And we also recognize those people that maybe we have lost, and those families want to acknowledge them too, and we welcome them to join us during those survivor ceremonies. And it's almost like a family reunion every year, right? We see these people, we celebrate, we give hugs, this is their moment to not only celebrate their survivorhood and the incredible challenging journey they've been on, but also to let their families celebrate and to let them have their time. That's what I always say about Hope Village. That is their safe space for those survivors to go share experiences that maybe others just don't quite understand. And this is what Komen and Race for the Cure is all about. It's those people and their families and what we can do to support those going forward.
And we do know that there are some women who are going through breast cancer that don't feel they're ready or not physically ready to go to the race. They might go the next year or the year after. But for those that are there, talk about the uplifting feeling that it brings. You got into a little bit of that right here, but you're around other survivors. You bring your family members with you. How much does that, do you think, help, especially if there is someone who's going through treatment?
It helps in many ways. First of all, again, it's their safe space. No one is shocked or surprised or feels uncomfortable talking about certain subject matters. That's what race is about. Race is also about making sure those women who are at risk or still going through journeys or maybe have family members where they can access Komen care, right? We host Race for the Cure, but then we kind of maybe disperse afterwards and start planning for the next year. But we want to make sure everyone who comes to race knows that Komen is there for them, whether it's financial support, healthcare support, interest in research. This is what Komen does. So it's about the safe space for survivors. It's about them talking to each other, learning, growing, and sharing with each other. But also, gosh, I need help, or I know someone who needs help. Komen's here. Let's walk over to that mission tent and figure out what we can do going forward if we need care.
Gretchen, joined by Gretchen Awad once again from Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. What can you tell us about the current state of the fight against breast cancer? We know it takes more than money. It takes so many volunteers hard at work. Are trends going in the right direction? Are we seeing more detection? Are more and more women, and we know men can get this too, getting those screenings that could save their lives?
Well, that's a layered question that requires
Yes.
a layered answer. We're seeing younger and younger women being diagnosed, and that's something that Komen is studying. On the flip side, that means women are being more proactive about healthcare and understanding family history and understanding maybe their own personal health risks and getting those mammograms. So that's a wonderful thing. Early detection saves lives. So we encourage that, we support that, but it is a trend that we're seeing. That women are being diagnosed at a younger age. We still see health disparities when it comes to African American women. So that's a big focus on Komen's research. And access to clinical trials, right? If you have data that is only of, one race or one particular set of data and discludes other sets, that does not help when we are trying to cure cancer for all. So the state of what Komen is doing is ever changing. It's tackling breast cancer on all sides. And I think what's really happening right now, when you speak of not necessarily trends, but what's happening that Komen is very focused on, is what we're doing in the advocacy space. We are seeing women's healthcare threatened depending on state. Komen is constantly reviewing what is happening in the courts, reviewing what is happening when it comes to equal and equitable healthcare, and making sure that women's healthcare, and particularly breast cancer healthcare and screenings, is top of mind for our legislatures in all states and within the federal government as well.
Yeah, you certainly have to keep adjusting to the times and the different cuts that might be coming. And Gretchen, there's still time to sign up to be in the race or to help out. How can people do that? What's the best way to do that?
The best way is to go to komen.org/NW Ohio Race. You can sign up to register, you can fundraise, you can, join someone's team, you can sign up to volunteer. There's still a few slots. We're lucky our community comes together and always volunteers. There's still a few slots. We'll find a spot for you if you want to come and volunteer. But we just want you to register. We want you to donate. We want you to come and celebrate what Komen has been doing in Northwest Ohio for the past 32 years and what we will continue to do until we realize our vision of a world without breast cancer. And come enjoy us, celebrate with us, remember with us, and move forward with us.
And we love being there for it, covering it the day of the race every year. And I can't wait to see you down there on the September 28th and see all the survivors and their family members there. Thank you for joining us, Gretchen.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you.
All right, we're coming back on Leading Edge. Coming up, we'll take a look at ODOT road projects and how they could affect you going into the fall. Welcome back to Leading Edge. We are getting into the fall season now, and that also could mean some changes when it comes to road construction projects. So joining me now is Pat McColley. He is the Deputy Director for District 2 for the Ohio Department of Transportation. Pat, you always seem to have the answers on my questions about road projects. So how are things going as we head into the fall season here? Is anything wrapping up? Do you ramp up for the winter eventually here?
Yeah, it is a little bit of a transition time, Tim. And as we wrap up some projects, some road resurfacing, some roundabouts, some other things, we're continuing projects too. We have a interchange on 24 and 17D. We still have some work on our interstate a little bit, but by and large, our interstates are open right now. We also get into Ottawa County and by the lake. We're going to be starting a roundabout project. We try to stay off of the tourism season in that area, and it's just very tourist heavy, obviously. So we're cognizant of that, and it presents its own challenges. But overall, yeah, we're wrapping up most of our projects, and we'll be heading into winter. And actually, we'll be having our winter readiness events coming up soon, so that our plows are all ready to go, and we got enough salt and things like that. Stuff that nobody wants to think about right now as we're in early September. But we certainly got to start thinking about that stuff early.
That's for sure. You have to plan ahead for that. Let's talk about one of the big projects that wrapped up about a month ago was the 20A, the new overpass there, the diverging diamond interchange over 475. How was that to finally get that open, and how are drivers reacting so far?
It was a great event. I mean, this was a project that's been talked about for 3 decades, really, since the 90s. And it takes a long time. It takes a collaborative effort. It also took the widening of 475. So the feds actually wouldn't let us put an interchange there unless we widened 475. So those had to happen at the same time, or the widening had to happen before. It just coincidentally happened at the same time. But it's going really well. I mean, it's flowing well. I was talking with some local elected officials earlier this week, and they were surprised at how many people are already using it. And it really opens up that area. It opens up Anderson's and those grain silos there, as well as the industrial area to the west, and then even go into the airport. So it's functioning extremely well. We're very happy with that project. We were happy with our partners that made that project come true. And really, half of that funding came from locals. It did not come from the state of Ohio. So that just really speaks volumes at the effort that they put forth.
And that was the second diverging diamond in our area. Obviously, the one by Levis Commons in Perrysburg is the one where people had to get used to driving on the other side. You have another one that's in development right now at I-75 and Fremont Pike, which you say just continues to see an increase in traffic there.
Yeah, I mean, we have that one, and then we also have the one on the airport, and actually they're building one in Findlay on County Road 99, so they're becoming more and more prevalent. But the one on Fremont Pike there, really, when you look at traffic counts, that's one of the things we look at amongst many things, including safety issues as well. But the traffic counts have increased almost 50% in the last 30 years out there. So it went from about 24,000 up to about 37,000 today. And we continue to see more and more growth. You got the new Amazon facility going in there, amongst other facilities. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the next area. It's going to go under 75. So it's a little bit different than some of the other ones we've seen. But they are the right solution. I mean, they are more efficient. They're about 10 to 30% more efficient. They're also reduce conflict points by about 50%, which a conflict point's a point where a crash can occur. And then they make wrong way driving nearly impossible or very, very difficult down the interstate. We've had those issues here in the past in Northwest Ohio. So overall, they're just safer, and they're also safer for pedestrians. They're shorter crossings. And they're mostly because you're crossing only one direction of traffic. So we're really excited about that project. It'll be coming soon. It'll be headaches just like a lot of our projects, but once they're done, people will be happy, and it's hard to imagine it any other way.
And where are we as far as that planning goes? I know we talked about this. We did a news story earlier this year, I believe. It's still a ways off. When could work begin on that DDI there at 75 and Fremont Pike?
So we're scheduled to open bids or collect basically bids from contractors in 2007, spring of 2007. So shortly thereafter, you'd see some movement out there. It's planning to last for about 2 construction seasons. We already have the construction funding lined up. And then it'll finish up in late 2028. So those certainly be some headaches along the way, but we're getting closer and closer.
We're all thinking of 2026, but 2027, like I said, in your line of business, those are not far off dates, are they?
No, I mean, it takes a long time to plan these projects. It takes a long time to get the funding around for these projects. There's a lot of environmental and right-of-way impacts that we got to address, and and then we got to line things up and go build it. So it's we're getting very, very close for us.
Right. And Pat, before we go here, what's one thing that if I would ask you what you would like drivers to do? We know you're always worried about the workers and their safety. What's one thing you wish they could do that maybe drivers aren't doing to be safer out on our interstates and roadways?
I mean, for our workers' safety, of course, is just to watch out in work zones. I mean, these are people that are putting their lives on the line to make improvements for you, the driver. And really, when you look at the Department of Transportation, we have the greatest direct daily impact on the citizens of the Buckeye State versus any other state department. So, I mean, this is something people use either directly or indirectly every day, but we just need to be cognizant of the workers out there. I also think that the cell phones have been a bigger and bigger issue. You need to not drive distracted, pay attention to what you're doing. You're driving 70 miles an hour. There's a lot that can happen when you're driving 70 miles an hour in a very short period of time. So I would really, I'd really watch distracted driving and make sure you put those phones down. It can wait. Those are probably some of the best tips I can give.
And be a good example to your kids too when they're going to be driving at some point, or unless they already are. So, all right. Well, Pat, we thank you so much for joining us here on Leading Edge. Thanks for updating us.
Thank you, Tim. It's been a pleasure.
All right. We'll be right back here on Leading Edge. My thanks to all of our guests, and thank you for watching Leading Edge. I'm Tim Miller.